Chum chumani, chum chumani, chum chum chiroo. I review what I likes and I likes to review. Today I'm discussing a whiz-mickle flick. It's Disney's finest in filmmaking tricks. And now it's remastered for the former Blu-ray.
Can't finish the curtain. Let's see what he has to say. What's he got for us this time? They're probably Blu-rays. Aficionados Chris. It's a guilty pleasure. Aficionados Chris. It's a comfort measure. Aficionados shine the lights, shoot the camera, smile for the world in panorama. He likes to impersonate walk-on.
Hey everybody, Aficionados Chris here, and today I'm going to be doing a double bill review. Today we're going to be looking at the brand new release of Mary Poppins, the 50th anniversary Blu-ray, and I'm also going to give my thoughts on the recently released Saving Mr. Banks, which is of course a film about the making of Mary Poppins, how Walt Disney was trying desperately to get the rights from the original author P.L. Travers. Fantastic film, we'll talk about that later. First, let's talk about the Blu-ray at hand. Now, first, let's discuss the biggest issue that I have with this Blu-ray. That is, of course, the cover. And wow, do I hate this cover. To get a better look at it, here it is. Yeah, it's quite possibly one of the worst Blu-ray covers I've ever seen. But it's really a shame that such an amazing movie like Mary Poppins got such a terrible cover for its 50th anniversary Blu-ray. Which, by the way, technically speaking, the 50th anniversary hasn't happened yet. Since this movie came out in 1964, the 50th anniversary doesn't start until next year. But obviously this release was to coincide with the brand new movie Saving Mr. Banks, so I can let it slide this time. I'm sure everybody has at least seen Mary Poppins. I don't really know a child that's never seen it. It's a staple of childhood. It's one of my all-time favorite childhood movies, and probably one of my all-time favorite movies, period. Of all the live-action Disney movies, this is definitely the one I always go back to the most and rewatch the most. It has some of the best musical numbers, it has some of the best visuals, it's just well-written, well-acted. It's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. It's whimsical. It was groundbreaking for the time. In fact, recently it actually was selected to go into the National Film Registry to be preserved for being culturally and historically significant. So, you know, fantastic to Mary Poppins for getting that. So let's talk about the Blu-ray up front. Now, this movie's been released on DVD a couple times. There was a 40th anniversary, then there was a 45th anniversary DVD, and now we got a 50th anniversary Blu-ray, and my goodness, this is an impressive Blu-ray transfer. I have seen bad transfers of Blu-rays. I've seen phenomenal transfers of Blu-rays. One of the best transfers on Blu-ray to me personally is Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver. Mary Poppins is quite possibly one of the best Blu-rays of the year. It is a beautiful transfer. It really looks and sounds like it's brand new. And by that I mean that, you know, the transfer of the old print is incredible. The grain is present, it looks exactly the way it should, it looks like a proper restoration, and clearly a lot of love and work went into restoring this movie. I just wish a lot of love and work went into making the cover. By judging a Blu-ray by its cover, if you were worried that Mary Poppins was not going to get a good transfer on Blu-ray, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. This Blu-ray is incredible, it's exactly the way it should look, it's exactly the way it should be preserved, it's exactly the way it should be seen, and I wish I had a bigger TV to experience this, because just watch it on my LCD HD monitor was enough to go, my god, this is an incredible transfer. And also, let's talk about some of the bonus features. This thing's packed. The best new bonus feature on this Blu-ray is a conversation between Jason Schwartzman and Richard Sherman. He, of course, plays him in the movie Saving Mr. Banks, and it's an incredible little featurette with them discussing how you know, the process went into writing some of the songs for the movie, because unfortunately Robert Sherman is no longer with us, so he couldn't really talk about it. But it's great that Richard is still with us and still willing to talk about it. He's a legend, so it's really nice to hear from a legend like himself. And of course, there's a couple that were carried over from previous DVDs. Ones that are included are a Mary Oki sing-along. They've been doing a lot of sing-alongs for these Blu-rays, which is a cool little featurette if you have kids, I suppose, or if you're a musical nut like me and you want to sing along with the songs. The deleted song Chimpanzee, a magical musical reunion with Julie Andrews, Dick Van Dyke, and Richard Sherman. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, the making of Mary Poppins. It is just, this is a great set. If you can get past the really bad Blu-ray cover, just pick it up. It's worth all the money. It's a beautiful transfer, it's got beautiful audio quality, it's got great bonus features, and it's a must-own movie. I mean, if you don't own Mary Poppins, I'd genuinely be surprised. I mean, if you have kids, you should own it. I mean, it has to be there with other movies like The Lion King, Winnie the Pooh. You have to have Mary Poppins. It's just a must-own. It's a wonderful movie. Everybody should see it. Heck, my favorite critic of all time, Leonard Maltin, even says it's Walt Disney's crowning achievement. I can't help but agree. It definitely is one of Walt Disney's best films, and it took over 20 years to make. And speaking of which, let's talk about the recently released movie Saving Mr. Banks, which dramatizes the making and the production behind the scenes of getting Mary Poppins made. I saw the movie a couple days ago, and it was a movie that I was very anxious to see. I mean, Tom Hanks as Walt Disney, sign me up. I was anxious. I was really looking forward to see what they were going to do, because Tom Hanks is one of my favorite actors and Walt Disney is one of my heroes. So it just seemed like a match made in heaven. I didn't really know much about, you know, the behind the scenes drama that went on with making Mary Poppins. I didn't know about, you know, that it took over 20 years to get it made because P.L. Travers just didn't want to sell the rights to Walt Disney. She didn't want Mary Poppins to be turned into one of his cartoon characters, as she put it. But it was an incredible film. I really loved it. I was slightly hesitant when I found out that it was from the director of The Blind Side, which I wasn't too big of a fan of, but he did a fantastic job with this movie. It's well acted, it's well produced. I hope it's one of those movies that gets multiple Oscar nominations. Heck, I really hope that Tom Hanks gets an Oscar nod for his portrayal of Walt Disney, because there are a lot of people complaining that Tom Hanks doesn't look that much like Disney, but let me tell you this. Did you know that Tom Hanks is a distant cousin to Walt Disney? Just let that sink in for a minute. No, he doesn't look exactly like Walt Disney. He doesn't sound exactly like Walt Disney, but it's not about doing an impression of Walt Disney. It's about embodying Walt Disney and his persona and who he was as a person, and Tom Hanks just did an incredible job with that. He was impeccable. I loved him. He stole every scene. And the other thing is that the movie is not a movie about Walt Disney. It's a movie about P.L. Travers, her history, why she wouldn't sell the rights, why there was so much drama behind the scenes, this and that. So if you're going in thinking it's going to be a, you know, Walt Disney biopic, it's not. And, you know, if you're just looking for a history about, you know, how Mary Poppins, one of the greatest movies of all time, had a lot of problems behind the scenes and, you know, figure out what some of the people had to deal with, it's just an incredible movie. For biopic standards, I just thought it was good. It wasn't fluff, it wasn't just Oscar fodder, it was just a wonderful movie to watch. It actually made me tear up at the end, I'll even admit that. It's a great film. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. Go see it in theaters. It's a wonderful movie, and Disney doesn't do a whole lot of live action movies that aren't pirate movies or action oriented, so it's nice to see them do a sort of serious drama. So yeah, definitely check out Saving Mr. Banks. That's really all I have to say in this video. So if you haven't already, pick up Mary Poppins on Blu-ray. It's a fantastic Blu-ray transfer. It's just a fantastic package overall. Just get behind the bad cover art and you can have a great little addition to the collection. And definitely go see Saving Mr. Banks. It's an incredible movie. It's definitely in my top 10 of the year. I believe it's at number 5 currently. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video and please have a wonderful day. Bye.